There are obviously some people that are able to make money off of this system. Unfortunately, not nearly enough. That's the problem. And there are people with money in the country who don't understand what's going on, and so they believe that Obama is actually going to help the country. And there are other people that know that he's not, but they have a vested interest in the programs that he's perpetuating. Many of those programs are responsible for impoverishing the majority of Americans, but they enrich his contributors. Well, I think there's a lot of policies that are perpetuating the financial bubble, that are perpetuating Wall Street. And so I think a lot of financiers are benefiting from the reckless policies. Certainly, a lot of the industries that government drives money towards, education, healthcare, those sectors are bloated, and there's a lot of money that's being spent there in a very wasteful manner. But obviously, there are people who benefit from that wasteful spending because that's the source of their income. So there is an entire constituency that is feeding off the public trough, and Barack Obama is there to fill it up. And so there are plenty of people that benefit from it, and they help reelect them. And of course, you've got the drug companies, I think, pharmaceutical companies benefit, large brokerage firms benefit. There are a number of companies that I think are direct beneficiaries of a lot of these government programs. A lot of regulations that stifle competition benefit the companies that are being protected by competition. But I think the entire economy suffers from these big government policies. I think a lot of people are becoming disillusioned with the president. That's why his support is falling, and I expect his support to continue to fall. But that's not going to diminish his ability to raise money. He's still going to raise money from the people who profit from the status quo, even if the status quo is undermining the strength of the U.S. economy. And of course, as the government is able to help ruin the economy and create dependency, people who become dependent on government checks are now more likely to vote for the people who are signing those checks. They don't connect the dots. They don't understand that the government is responsible for their plight, but they buy into the rhetoric that the government will solve the problems, which is why the government wants to perpetuate poverty because it's easy to get the votes of the impoverished when you're the one that is providing them with funds. The whole country is getting crushed. I mean, the cities aren't going to be immune from that. Remember, the cities are drawing their revenues from their tax base, and their tax base is being eroded. Property values are falling. People aren't paying property taxes. Incomes are diminished. You're getting less sales tax revenue. There's all sorts of ways that cities and states are going to get squeezed from this recession. The real problem is going to be when interest rates start to rise, because a lot of these municipalities or states are surviving by borrowing. And when the cost of borrowing goes up, it hasn't happened yet, but eventually it is going to happen. And then you're going to have a double whammy because it's going to cost the cities a lot more to borrow money, but they're also going to have to borrow a lot more because higher interest rates are also going to, at least in the short run, further undermine this consumer debt-based bubble economy that we're living in. It is going to get worse. I mean, interest rates need to go up, but not for the reason that they're going to go up. The real reason they're going to go up now is because inflation drives them up, because the government is destroying our money and our savings. I mean, it would be better if we could have higher real interest rates where the Fed gets ahead of the curve and we can have more savings and investment. But still, that is going to pressure the debtors. And to the extent that governments have too much debt, higher interest rates are going to be problematic. That is why the cure is going to be so painful for certain segments of the economy. But ultimately, if we can cure the economy, we can have much more robust economic growth, which ultimately will benefit the states, even if in the short run they are negatively impacted by the increased cost of servicing their debts, which is also why some of these municipalities or states are going to end up defaulting on some of that debt in order for it to be manageable. It could get a lot worse. I mean, we really see nothing yet. I mean, things are bad. People are having a hard time getting jobs. But the people that still have jobs, I mean, they're getting squeezed a little bit, but nothing like it's going to be. No, I think it's going to get a lot worse when you really see a precipitous decline in the value of the dollar. That's really going to kick it in, because that's going to lead to big increases in consumer prices on basic necessities, which are really going to crush American families. And when you see a big increase in interest rates, I mean, this is going to get much worse. I mean, we're really still in the calm before the storm. People are more worried about Europe right now than America. And so our day of reckoning is being postponed as a result of that. But ultimately, by allowing the U.S. economy to go deeper into debt, it means our day of reckoning is going to be that much more dramatic when it comes. And I think that one of the catalysts could be some sort of resolution to the European situation where the world can breathe a sigh of relief and decide that, okay, the worst is behind Europe and things are going to improve, because then they're going to focus their attention back on the U.S. because we've done nothing to improve our situation. Our fiscal imbalances continue to deteriorate.